Every once in a while, I have someone suggest that galvanized bolts don't rust. Galvanized coated, zinc coated, certain bolts that you can purchase from your lumber yard for exterior building projects won't ever corrode. And I'm here to say that every once in a while, these bolts are going to turn into different colors. And if you don't want to consider this as the metal deteriorating or rust, that's fine. But by the time you're done watching this video, you will have a little more information about some of these bolts, hopefully, than when you started. Let's go ahead and take a look, a little closer look here, and you can see that there is one bolt that looks like it is doing okay, but the rest of them are deteriorating, and you can see it. It's plain as day, and there's a reason why. This is because this fence is getting sprayed with water, and you can see the white. It's built out of pressure treated lumber, so that's green to begin with, and you can see here that it's already starting to stain because it's getting hammered by a sprinkler on a regular basis. Now here's another look at a corner, and again you can see that the metal is clearly deteriorating. Now you're probably saying, wait a minute, these aren't galvanized bolts. There's no way this can happen. But I'm here to tell you that looks like they are. And again, unless someone used only a percentage of galvanized bolts and a percentage of steel bolts, then I could buy into that. And again, we could go into all sorts of reasons why these things aren't holding up like they should. But the fact is that these are sold at lumber yards and home improvement centers, and most of the people in there will tell you that, yeah, these bolts aren't going to rust, they are going to hold up. And again, they might not be lying to you about the holding up, but about the rust part, you might want to maybe send them a link to this video. Again, here's another water line from the sprinklers. You can see where there's a variation in the materials. It goes from a little lighter to a little darker. And this should tell you that this is where the fence is really getting soaked the most. However, in between the second and the third board here, we have a little more discoloration, telling us that the water is traveling a little farther up than we think. You can't just, when you're inspecting a property, you can't just make assumptions. And even some of the things that I'm telling you right now can be viewed as assumptions, because I'm telling you that this stuff is discolored from water, but who knows? Maybe somebody came in and put some type of a stain on this. I don't know, but this is more than obvious most of the time. And however, if you're going to look at a property and try and figure out what's going on, this is a good place to start. Discolorations and anything, variations, and then from there you try and go to the bottom, get to the bottom of it. Now you're probably looking at the bolts and you're noticing that most of them are rusted, even though they're below the stained area and above it. And this should tell us that realistically, these bolts probably weren't really meant to hold up under these types of conditions. Last but not least, let's take a look at a section of the fencing that is not getting hammered by water, and we can clearly see that the bolts look like they're in pretty good shape. They're holding up whatever types of materials they are, galvanized, zinc, whatever. And I would doubt if they were stainless steel, because stainless steel would probably hold up a little better than these. Now, if you're really looking for products that are going to last under conditions that are going to be getting hammered by water, it wouldn't be a bad idea to look into some type of marine hardware, what they use for boats, harbors, docks, stuff by the ocean. Something like that would probably last a little longer than stuff you're going to find at your local hardware store, lumber yard, and home improvement center. Okay, I do see one more problem here I have got to point out, and that is the posts. You can see the post protruding up above the 2x6 fencing, and this isn't a good thing. If someone falls on one of these things, they aren't going to be feeling good. And let's face it, if you fell on the fence, you might suffer a few injuries, but you fall on one of these posts, and it's going to be a little more painful. So wouldn't be a bad idea to cut these things off and even put some type of a cap on the top. So if someone did fall on top, put like a nice foam, cushion up there, something soft. So if someone does fall on it, they won't have to suffer any injuries at all. So, okay, I got a little carried away there. Maybe that's not going to be the best solution, but somehow I don't think these posts sticking up above the fencing are either.